take a library card, go to a library and take books out. They're free and you give them back. You don't have to have a hoard of places. Or unless you are like me and you have to have all the books, because owning books is such a great treasure. I'm literally nearing like the 200 marks of owning books. Okay, so I will take out some of the selections. I have loads. I kind of have sort of eclectic taste through books. I like all sorts of stuff. I also like manga, fiction. No, all my books are pretty much fiction, except for some biography, which has only got Gran because he's amazing. He's like God. Makes you feel pretty. Naked, apparently. Got Chicken Soup for Soul. I actually strongly suggest you don't buy these self-help books because they do actually make you feel a lot worse. I mean, okay, there are some things in here that are quite inspiring. There's like a list and stuff, but I mean, I don't know, unless you really are going to go out and do these things and you want to be a positive thinking person, you're going to have to really make a lot of effort into it. You can't just read a book about it. You can't. I'm such a hypocrite. I talk against self-help books, but one of them's actually inspired me to create a bucket list, and I've actually ticked a couple of things off, like going to a festival. Next thing to do is to get drunk at a festival, because I refuse to drink alcohol to live music. Except for when I went to the Hipsy Deck Festival, I was actually quite drunk. And then I met the Yardian crowd drunk. That's funny. Don't ever turn to somebody and be like, I really like your signature. Oh, I'm probably going to do that to the One Direction boys one day. But yeah, self-help books aren't actually that great. I mean, you can read them, you feel positive for like 2 days, and then the world comes crashing in because you haven't actually made a difference. I have actually bought a couple more because I do want to make a difference. Hence this video about books. Read books, they're good for you. Right, the reason why I started reading books is because when I was 11, my granddaddy took me to watch Harry Potter. That is pretty much self-explanatory. 11 years old, go and watch Harry Potter at the Odeon, and then you end up with it. I'm going to change it for the world! Go J.K. Rowling! You made me live my life in books! I'm so glad no one's home because that sounds really crazy. Anywho, so yeah, I actually own all the J.K. Rowling books, and look how worn, well actually they're not too bad looking actually. They don't got that great old book smell and stuff, but actually I wonder if we can. Prisoner of Azkaban, not doing so great. Harry the Cockatiel, that no longer is with us anymore. I tapped it. Is it Harry or somebody else? Harry the Cockatiel wasn't named after Harry Potter. He was given to us named Harry. But I should clear that up with you guys. But yeah, so that's how it all started, was through J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. And I mean, I am obsessed with Harry Potter. I love them. I pretty much read these books like ages. But I love J.K. Rowling's writing. She's so inspiring and so oh, that was a Kristen Stewart moment, wasn't it? Oh, she's so not crazy. But yeah, no, J.K. Rowling, I mean, what's it? She's built every foundation she had through sinking down to her lowest levels. I mean, she's been depressed. She used these foundations of depression. Hence the reason why Dementors were created. I think I'm right. I do remember watching documentaries about her. But yeah, so I live with Harry Potter throughout my whole entire high school, I'm not American, secondary school years. I mean, I was like the lowest. People actually bullied me. People that got bullied me. I hated school. Thank you, Harry. You kept me alive for so long. Why did you have to end? Why did Sephiroth have to die? Anywho. So yeah, but no, there's been quite a few books that's actually helped me, motivate me, because I am the type of person who do get into a dump and who do get really depressed and do end up crying every night because I'm wondering, God, what am I doing with my life? Why am I alive? So what type of books have actually helped me through those scenarios? Actually, Perks of Being a Wallflower really did help me. This kid who, like, you know, is actually, no spoilers, don't spoil, worth reading, read it, or watch the film. Emma Watson's in it, Hermione Granger, win-win situation. But yeah, I mean, this one helped me, because when I was feeling like, you know, I feel like this all the time. I have no idea where my life is going. I'm trying to career change, I'm doing everything at the moment. I'm trying to volunteer for places, etc., etc. But this one is literally about this kid who loves to write, who loves to read, and he goes and makes some new friends, like 2 new friends, but then they're going off to college and stuff like that. So he's feeling a bit sad and everything, and he has this whole other bit of thing that actually turns out to be a bit of a spoiler. I remember reading it and going, oh my God, I didn't know that was coming. But he's a wallflower. He observes things, he sees things happening, but this time at the end of the book he realised that he needs to get out there, he needs to go and join other people. And so this is the reason why it's so great, because when I was feeling down in the dumps and I read it, and I thought, well, this is actually quite good, and it makes me want to get out there and meet new people through another tough time. Number one, when I was suffering from migraine, I needed a form of an escape. So when she was going through her tough time with cancer and terminal cancer, these books, Trudy Canavan, The Magician Guild trilogy, helped me escape from dealing with that. Yes, I did burst into tears, I did cry about it, I did mourn, I did grieve, but Trudy Canavan helped me just sort of escape from that reality for about 2 hours, 10 hours, pretty much when I woke up and went to bed at night and stuff. So I've read this about a few times actually. I think during the whole cancer I just constantly reread the books because I wasn't ready to live in reality. So she helped me in my grad. Basically these books are just about these magicians, they call themselves, and there's one Rouge magician who didn't realise she was going to be a magician. She just threw a rock and it went straight through him, and she was like, oh crap, I have magic. Now they're after me because I have magic and I live in the slums. But she turns out to be, like, you know, she actually goes to the Magician Girl, she learns how to become a magician, then there's like this all great war, she falls in love, she has a child. Trudy Canavan's actually written another trilogy as a follow-up, like 20 years extra, called, what's she called this one? The Traitor Spy trilogy. I haven't actually finished reading this trilogy. She's only just recently released the 3rd book, which is still in my pile to read. But I have a huge pile of books to read, so I will get to it one day, but it's definitely worth reading. But I need another tough time to escape to that book. I have Lord of the Rings, because my dad is a Lord of the Rings fan. I have The Woman in Black, scary book to read, really did freak me out. Don't read it in a house on your own when it's starting to get dark and listening to music, because then you think you're hearing horse who's swamping through swamps. I didn't realise swamping was a word. It is now, because I made it up. You do freak out. And the movie freaked me out too. Now you act like that was not cool. Other books. Another form of escapism. The Host. Better than Twilight. Same author, but still better. Another form of escapism. Pretty much all my books are a form of escapism, but not all of them. I do actually just read for a like of it, actually. Sherlock Holmes, love Sherlock Holmes. I have favourites. I don't really have like one particular favourite. I just love everything like almost equally. But there is just more that I just love that little extra more. And one of my favourites is Howl's Moving Castle. And the reason why it would be considered a favourite is because I would actually attempt to one day have an object or a picture that would symbolise the book and have it tattooed on my body. At the moment I definitely have Hallow's mark on my ankle and a Beauty and the Beast mark on my foot. Because they are my favourite fairy tales / stories. But yeah, I'm looking for something to get something tattooed from this book on me. But it's basically about a wizard called Howl who traded his heart with a fire demon / shooting star, and this lovely, and he can't, like, you know, he's heartless, he's a bit of a bastard. He makes people fall in love with him and then runs away because that's what heartless people do, apparently. But then he like falls in love with the he makes the Wicked Witch of the Waste fall in love with him, and then he runs away from her. And then she's all like, I'll read your prophecy. And then she meets this girl called Sophie. And Sophie is Howl's actually destined true love. So she turns Sophie into like an 80-year-old woman who runs away from her house, her hat shop, from her mother, stepmom, and ends up being a house cleaner for Howl in his moving castle. And then of course Howl realises she's under the spell, tries to break it. Sophie works with the fire demon, tries to make them all one big happy family. Oh, I love this book, so good. I think it's Howl. Howl's like so childish. I mean, when you lose your heart as a child, you tend to act childish. I think I have this thing for about blokes being childish. I mean, I like Sherlock Holmes because he's so delusionally childish when you read his stories. Other book, Peter Pan, J.M. Barrie. Boy that never grows up. That's what I like to be. I don't want to grow up. Growing up for losers. So, yes, I am considering getting some form of tattoo from Peter Pan on my body. Go Peter Pan, Peter Pan. Don't treat your books like I do, as much as you love them. And it's not in Swedish or anything. I don't. The Devotion of Suspect X. Another great detective story, sort of like Sherlock Holmes. Got a crazy detective. Not a crazy detective, got a crazy scientist who actually helps the detective solve a mystery. And some crazy mathematic guy, because he helps, a crazy mathematic guy helps the family who murdered her husband. Actually really good reading. Really good. Reading. Haruki Murakami. Murakami is amazing. His writing is so unique and weird and projectively, descriptively, it's beautiful, it's amazing. I'm just reading this from the back, the David Telegraph. This is philosophical. That's actually the best way to describe Murakami. He is quite philosophical. He's so amazing. Actually, I'm reading Life of Pi because I really like that one. I'm also reading a David Edmonds book. Yeah. Books are amazing.